Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Johns Hopkins School of Education Special Education Program Virtual Information Session. And please note that we'll be focusing on the Master of Science in Special Education Mild to Moderate Disabilities for the SEDET program. My name is Sion John. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions here at the Johns Hopkins School of Education. We also have a faculty member of the Special Education Department, Dr. Alexander Shelton, joining us today. And before we get started, I would like to cover a few housekeeping topics. First, today's webinar is being recorded. We'll be able to share the link to the recorded video within 10 business days. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please type your question in the Q&A box and we will read and answer your questions. I would like to share the agenda for today's virtual information session. We'll start the presentation sharing an overview of the Johns Hopkins School of Education. I'll introduce Dr. Shelton, and Dr. Shelton will go over the details of the program. Then we'll cover admissions requirements, financial aid, and scholarship, and Dr. Shelton will cover the Montgomery County Tuition Reimbursement Program. And finally, we'll leave the floor open for questions at the end. And here on this slide, we have some fast facts about SOE. We are one of 9 schools at Johns Hopkins University. We began offering college courses for teachers in 1909, and then we became our own school in 2007. And we are proud to share that the Johns Hopkins School of Education has consistently ranked one of the top schools in education by the U.S. News and World Report. And for school enrollment, we have approximately 1,741 students. We have approximately 25 graduate programs, and that includes our doctoral, master's, and graduate certificate programs. And we do have a strong network of over 24,000 SOE alums. And for faculty introduction, we have 3 faculty members for the Special Education Department, Dr. Cruz, Dr. Martyr, and Dr. Shelton. Dr. Shelton joined SOE in 2021. Her research focuses on improving literacy outcomes for secondary students with mild disabilities, including mild intellectual disability and learning disabilities, via intensive intervention and teacher professional development and coaching. Her prior experience before joining SOE she was a high school special education teacher in Baltimore City Public Schools, where she served students with and without disabilities in English language arts, reading, math, and science. So at this time, I will hand the floor over to Dr. Shelton. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you all for attending. So on the next slide, I'll just talk a bit about why we need special education teachers. So there is a critical shortage of special education teachers in the United States. 49 states, including Maryland, have reported such a shortage, and the pandemic made this even worse. And so there's a greater need to have well-trained special educators. And for this reason, states and districts and teacher preparation programs like ours need creative ways to expand the number of people who are entering the special education teacher profession. And this is a way to address the special education teacher shortage, to increase diversity, and to meet the academic and social and emotional and behavioral needs of students with and without disabilities in this state. And so our program, the special education program at Johns Hopkins, has 3 pathways. And we have these pathways so that folks can customize their master's degree to meet their professional goals. And today we will be focusing on the mild to moderate disabilities pathway. So this pathway is designed for candidates who plan to serve students with disabilities. The focus of the pathway is on gaining expertise in applying specialized techniques within a wide range of educational settings. This certification program is approved by the Maryland State Department of Education for initial certification in generic special education. And so this means that upon graduating from our program and completing all program requirements, students are eligible for their certification in special education. And so this certification has two tracks, either elementary middle, which focuses on grades 1 through 8, or secondary adult, which focuses on grades 6 through 12. And then the last thing I want to share is that most of our students do earn their degree in order to seek certification, but it is possible for students to earn their degree in special education without seeking certification. But again, most of our candidates do seek certification upon completion of our program. Okay, so here are the courses that make up the mild to moderate disabilities pathway, and this is specifically focused on the elementary middle track. And so most of our classes are taken by all candidates, but there are some classes that are specific to the track that students are on. And so here we see that spoken and written language is bold, and that is because this is a course that is specific for or specifically targeting students who are on the elementary middle track. And on the next slide, you will see, instead of spoken and written language, career assessment and programming, and that's bold, and that is for students who are on the secondary adult track. Another thing to note about our program is that both program plans, so the elementary middle program plan and the secondary adult program plan, include 2 classroom or behavior management courses, as well as 2 internships. And we'll talk a bit more about internships on a future slide. So we offer classes in the summer, fall, and spring, and most of our in-person classes occur in the evening at a centrally located campus, and that's the Applied Physics Lab, which is in Laurel. And so that's a nice central location because we have a lot of students who are living and working in Montgomery County, but we also have students who are working in Baltimore City or living in Baltimore City or Baltimore County. And then we also have some classes that are online. And this is a program that is designed to be completed in 2 years. So along with completing coursework, there are other program requirements that students have to complete as they move through the program. There are 2 praxis exams, one in special education and one in reading, and that is for candidates who are seeking state certification. There is also a comprehensive exam that students complete at the midpoint of the program to demonstrate the knowledge and skills that they have developed thus far. And then we also have an EdTPA portfolio, which is a state requirement for certification. And then lastly, we have a graduate project and presentation. This is optional for candidates who are seeking certification, and it is required for students who are not seeking certification because they don't have to complete the EdTPA portfolio, which is number 4 on this list. And so now I wanted to share a bit about the Special Education Teacher Immersion Training, or SETIT. This program is a partnership with Montgomery County Public Schools that's open to permanent MCPS school-based employees. Typically, that includes paraeducators and teachers who are not yet certified in special education. So cohort members complete our program in 2 years to earn their Master of Science in Special Education. And the course of study is delivered in a prescribed series of courses so that students take their courses with the rest of their MCPS cohort, as long as it follows the elementary middle track or the secondary adult track. And that said, just as a reminder, elementary middle is focused on grades 1 through 8, whereas the secondary adult track is focused on grades 6 through 12. And so for SETIT specifically, this means that in order to benefit from this partnership as an MCPS employee, it's ideal for students to be on the track that aligns with their school of employment. So if you are working in an elementary school and you'd like to use your place of employment as part of the program, then you should be on the elementary middle track. If you are working in a high school, then you would want to be on the secondary adult track. And if you're in middle school, if you're working in a middle school, then you get to choose between elementary, middle, or secondary adult, because there is that overlap. And so one of the benefits of the SETIT program is that teachers or MCPS employees can complete their 2 internships in a classroom within their school. And you also have access to your salary and benefits as an MCPS employee, as well as partial tuition support. And so that is why we really encourage the SETIT program for MCPS employees. Just one thing to keep in mind is that it is for permanent full-time employees who are considered benefits eligible employees. And that means that it's not open to substitute teachers. And I am the Hopkins liaison for SETIT. And so if you have any questions, you can email me. My email address is at the bottom of this slide. So the ideal SETIT candidate has a bachelor's degree and is seeking initial certification in special education through a state-approved program, which ours is. They are planning to serve students with disabilities and are able to commit to 2 years of intensive graduate coursework. They're also able to demonstrate all admissions requirements and willing to work and study hard. And one thing that I didn't say on a previous slide that I want to say now is that the official title of our program is mild to moderate disabilities. But our program is not limited to folks who are interested in working with students with mild to moderate disabilities. We do have students that are a part of our program who work with students with more extensive support needs. It's just that the mild to moderate disabilities program is the only certification program that we have. So if you're interested in certification, then no matter what your, I guess, target group of students is, the mild to moderate disabilities program would be the one for you.
Thank you, Dr. Sheltons. Now I'm going to continue by going over the application requirements. So applicants must have a 3.0 or better cumulative undergraduate grade point average. Applicants must submit a completed application, which can be found on the school's website. Keep in mind the application fee is $80. We'll need official transcripts from all post-secondary institutions that you have attended. Again, we'll need all official transcripts, including institutions you may have taken courses but did not receive a degree. We'll need your essay, resume, 2 letters of recommendation from individuals who can speak to your work in the field of special education. And keep in mind, for the mild to moderate program, testing scores are required if your undergraduate GPA is less than a 3.0. So you would need to visit the Maryland Department of Education website for a listing of specific tests that are accepted. And lastly, an interview. Applicants who meet admission requirements will be asked to interview to ensure that your goals align with the program's goals before an offer of admission. And if your degree was completed outside of the US, please keep in mind that we'll need a completed course-by-course evaluation, and additional information can be found on the school's website. And the current tuition for the 2023-2024 academic school year is for face-to-face and also online courses, $1,025 per credit. And if it's for an online class, keep in mind there is a $25 per credit technology fee. In addition, the registration fee is $175 per semester. And there is an application fee of $80 when you submit your application. And for additional information on tuition and fees, please visit the SOE's website. And if you're interested in applying for financial aid, we strongly encourage you to apply for financial aid when you start your application. And we do offer a very limited number of partial need-based institutional scholarships each year. And these awards range on average from 800 to 3,000 per semester, and they're applying to tuition expenses beginning in the fall semester. And keep in mind, if you want to apply for the SOE endowed scholarships, students must complete the FAFSA form. To learn if you qualified for the endowed scholarship or if you have any questions regarding financial aid, please visit the school's website. I'll hand the floor back to Dr. Shelton, and she'll go over the MCPS tuition reimbursement program.
So MCPS tuition reimbursement is available to all eligible MCPS employees. And to be eligible, you must be in a permanent position and work 20 hours or more each week. And as an eligible employee within SEDIT specifically, you have built-in approval to be reimbursed for more than 9 credits in a single year. This means that you may not be able to start another program immediately after finishing SEDIT, but while you are in SEDIT, you do have that approval to be reimbursed for more than 9 credits per year. And so here are some more details about MCPS tuition reimbursement. It's not automated, and this means that eligible employees will have to apply for reimbursement once they've successfully completed their coursework each semester. And to apply, you should review the information and submission process on the MCPS tuition reimbursement website. Additionally, the dollar amount reimbursed for each credit equals 1/2 of the per credit tuition rate for the University of Maryland College Park, which is, it says $405.95 on this slide, but it's now $414. And this means that the maximum that eligible employees can be reimbursed is $212 per credit. And for more information, you can email the email address on this slide, tuitionreimbursement@mcpsmd.org. Again, you can visit the MCPS tuition reimbursement website, or you can also email Brittany Mackle at this email address or call the number that's on this slide.
Thank you, Dr. Shelton. So at this time, we would like to open up the floor for questions. Looks like Dr. Shelton, we have a question from Ashley. So if we started a special education master's at a different university, can we transfer credits to this program?
So we would accept all prerequisite courses as long as they align with our prerequisites. So we would accept those credits. And then we would accept some credits to represent our core coursework. So that might be, I think it's either 6 credits or 9 credits that we would accept for the core coursework. But again, there's no limit to any prerequisite credits for prerequisite courses of ours.
Any other questions? Please type your question in the Q&A box. Oh, another program-related question, Dr. Shelton?
Okay, so this says, after graduating from this program, what degree will I get? Is this just a certification program? So this was shared earlier. Everyone who completes the program graduates with their Master of Science in Special Education. However, if they complete all program requirements, they're also eligible for certification in special education in the state of Maryland. It's not automatic. You just have to submit proof of completion of our program to Maryland State Department of Education. So by completing all program requirements, students receive their Master of Science in Special Education and are eligible to receive their certification in special education.
Thank you, Dr. Shelton. And while we're waiting for more questions, Dr. Shelton, can you share how many courses are online for this program?
So we have a total of 13 classes, and I think 6 are online and 7 are in person, or 7 are online and 6 are in person. So it's split relatively evenly. And like I shared earlier, classes that are in person are in the late afternoon or early evening, or I shouldn't say early evening. They're in the late afternoon or in the evening. So classes start around 4:30 or they start at 7. And typically they are only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so that might mean taking all classes on a Tuesday, or maybe one class on a Tuesday and another class on a Thursday. And then the other thing to note is that there's one summer semester or summer session, and those courses are all online. So the next question is, what's the difference between the SETIT program and the mild to moderate Master of Science program? So SETIT is specific to MCPS. It is a cohort of the mild to moderate disabilities program that we have. It results in the same degree. It's the same larger program, but there are benefits to MCPS employees to go through SETIT for the program.
And also going back to the courses, the online courses, are the courses asynchronous or synchronous?
The courses that are officially online tend to be asynchronous. Sometimes our in-person classes have online sessions, and sometimes those are synchronous. So the formal online courses tend to be asynchronous, but there are synchronous opportunities in other classes.
All right, so it looks like there are no more questions. Here on the slides, we have some very important contact information. Any questions relating to the admissions process, if you want to follow up on your transcripts, feel free to email us or call us at this number. Any questions regards to the MCPS tuition reimbursement program, please reach out to Ms. Brittany Mackle. Her email address is on this slide as well. Any program related questions? Julianne Taylor is the academic program coordinator for the special education program. And she is available to answer your questions related to anything program related questions. Thank you for your interest in the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Thank you, Dr. Shelton, for joining us today and for the wonderful presentation. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And keep in mind, this session was recorded. We'll share the recorded video within 10 business days. Thank you, everyone.